advent of Islam. On one side, there was the Byzantium, the Eastern Rome. In south, there was Africa. And there was a great empire in those days called the Aksum. They both were Christians. On the other side, there was a great empire called the Sasanians, Iran. They were Zoroasters. All of them, they wanted to take Arabian Peninsula, all of them. Why? Because Arabian Peninsula was the buffer between the sea coast, the Arabian Peninsula, so you have Arab Sea, and the Mediterranean. So the one who controls the Arabian Peninsula controls the overland trade. In other words, Arabian Peninsula was a very important piece or a jewel in the crown of anybody who takes it. The Arabian Peninsula is therefore also referred to as the Fertile Crescent. It is the cradle of the beginning of this civilization called the Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia grew here. A lot of towns developed here. And most of the towns here were oasis towns. And the people who lived here belonged to a tribal community. Small tribal communities, but all of them together were called the sons of Ishmael. Now, when you look at the geographical setting of this area, every city is different. For example, Mecca was a trading center. Medina was a place where agricultural boom was there. So that is a place where many peasants will settle. The tribal society which is in agriculture is Yathrib, Medina. However, all of them are tribals. Correct? Mecca was in control of the Jews because merchant center. Everyone wanted to continue and spread their religion. Christianity was to be imposed from both the sides. Sasanians were trying to impose Zoroastrianism in that area. Everybody was divided here. It is in this moment that Islam is born. So Islam is not only a religion, but it is actually a socio-political movement. Have you understood? Have you understood the ground where exactly Islam will flourish? बात समझ में आ रही? India is aloof. अभी इंडिया में कुछ नहीं हो रहा. India is aloof. They are not party to what is happening there. इनका अपना नहीं संभल रहा, बाकी का क्या संभालेंगे? So they are here. Everything is happening here. इस जगह पर हो रहा है. A person by the name Muhammad is born around circa 570 AD in Hashim clan of the Quraysh tribe, one of the most important tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. They, Hashim clan, were into trade. They were overland traders. And therefore, they were one of the wealthiest clans, tribes of that area, of that region. Since they were overland traders, they were into caravan trade from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. The Quraysh tribe controlled Mecca because they were the wealthiest of all. It is in this clan that Muhammad is born. and soon after his birth, he becomes an orphan. Later, Muhammad marries Khadija. She was a widow and a businesswoman. Muhammad marries Khadija. It is Muhammad who will bring all the tribes together. That is his importance for us. We are not discussing religion here. We are discussing the socio-political underpinnings that Islam gave us. And Muhammad has a very important task in front of him. Since he was a trader, he knew the roots. He was in contact with everybody. He knew Christianity. He knew Zoroastrianism. Correct? Muhammad, in 610, as it has been told, in 610, was visited by an angel, Jibreel. He is the same Jibreel which exists in Christianity. You call him Gabriel. And then the founding of Islam was laid. 610, a religion begins. Islam. But a Budoi is the tribe, the total. When you start off a movement, it is very difficult to start from the very scratch, because this region had seen many prophets before. What was so different about Muhammad? So when Muhammad began to preach about a new religion, Islam, he said that he is the last prophet. He said he is the last prophet. In other words, he gave importance to people who came before him. In Islam, the first prophet is Adam or Adam himself. Islam gives space to Jesus, Isaiah, Moses, Musa, Idris, and even the Noah, the ark, Nuh. So in other words, Prophet Muhammad did not say that I am the only prophet. He said, I am the last prophet. How did he know about all those people? Obviously, the area where he lived, he knew about it. He was in contact with everybody. So what he does is that he calls Islam an Abrahamic religion. Islam is an Abrahamic religion. Now the question is, what is an Abrahamic religion? Somebody is asking, what is Zoroastrian? UPSC करेंगे आप? Zoroastrian नहीं पता? Judaism पता है? कोई बात, Google. The first important thing about a religion, Abrahamic religion, is there is monotheism, one God. It is monotheistic, one God only. The God is gender neutral. In other words, God does not have a gender. He is not he or she. He is just God. Number 3, God does not have time to come all the way to you. So he gives orders through his message. All right. So that message is later recorded in a form of a holy book. Ahl e kitab. The message comes to the people through a messenger, prophet. And finally, there is no concept of idol. Abrahamic religion. So if you see, even Christianity is an Abrahamic religion. बात समझ में? Is Judaism an Abrahamic religion? He, like any other religion that was popular in that region, he calls Islam also an Abrahamic religion. The people do not have to dwell into a lot of complexity. That is the beginning of a religion called Islam. ठीक? In Islam, therefore, there are two most important things. One is the God, Allah, and the other is the Prophet, who is Muhammad. Correct? The orders of Allah came to be in the form of a holy book called Quran. But remember, Prophet never wrote Quran. He only preached Quran. अपने जबान से बोलते थे. He used to give message. He would preach Quran. He would not write it. So the first important thing about this religion is the holy book, that is Quran. Now, Prophet, after all, he's a human being. He's a Homo sapiens sapien. Now, 24/7, he would not preach. He is a man who has his own private affairs. He is a man who has friends. So, as a person, people will come to him for suggestions. What to do, how to take care of this, so on and so forth. Whatever Muhammad suggested, did, or said, apart from the message of Quran, came to be recorded in the form of hadith, sayings of Muhammad. Pavan, the question that you are asking is, that Christianity that you are talking about comes into formation very late, when the church is established. All right. However, Christianity is an Abrahamic religion. ठीक? Sayings of Muhammad. As a history student, we have to look at it in the form of history. For a history student, hadith is not a historical source. Because after a point in time, the number of hadiths kept on increasing. So, which is the correct hadith and which is infallible hadith and which is a fallible hadith, nobody can differentiate. So therefore, when it comes to historical reconstruction, we do not consider hadith as a historical source. Clear hai? Prophet. Islam. The true followers. which you call them as Muslims. काशिफ, I am teaching from 750. 750 से पहले मौर्य है ना, तो कोई और पढ़ाएगा? मुझे आता ही नहीं, मुझे जन्नत की बातें पता है, स्वर्ग का मुझे पता ही नहीं. Prophet, his ideas are simple. The first thing that he says, he keeps it very simple. He says a true follower is the one who follows Shahada. If you want to follow this religion, all you have to do is Shahada. There is no but one God. There's no but one God, only one. And Muhammad is the Prophet. If you say that, you become a Muslim. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. बोलिए. Shahada. Salat. 5 times namaz. Obviously a day, एक साल में नहीं. Number 3, Saum. Fasting for a month. And that month is Ramadan. किसी ने बोला नहीं वैसे शादा. रिवाइज करते समय भी मत बोलना, वरना बोलोगे कि सर ने कन्वर्ट करा दिया. Number 4, Zakat. In a Muslim world, 2.5% of your savings, not earning, annually per year, has to go for charity, alms. The people who are exempted here are poor and children, obviously. Later, थोड़े दिन बाद औरतों को भी हटा दिया जाएगा, थोड़े दिन बाद. But particularly poor and children. Do we get converted if we say it in English? Yes, obviously. Language is not a barrier. Number 5, Hajj. Pilgrimage to Mecca, where there is the famous black stone, Kaaba. If you look here critically, in Islam, everybody is equal. The rule is same for everybody. Therefore, the Islam of Prophet is based on equality. Not after him, until him, it is equality. ठीक? Clear? Simple? लिख रहे हैं आप? लिखिए. Prophet Muhammad passed away in 632 AD. Without announcing a successor. He did not announce a successor. No successor. In 632, after his death, as the regular practice happened in those days, every decision was taken by consensus. So all the people, all the elders of the society, they came together for a decision. Who will become the guardian or the shepherd? The right word is vice regent after Muhammad. Who will take care of the people? There is a word for it. Caliph. Who happened to be the one who will take care of the political system, because it is evolving. They need somebody, an elder, to show them the way. Till here, everything is fine. Every decision has to be taken by consensus. All right. So the elders sit together, and then there is a problem. The problem is the whole community is divided into two. One say that the guardian should be anyone who is pious and can take the idea forward. The others, the few who were there in that discourse, believed that the one who should succeed should be from Prophet's family. Theek. Now there were two major contenders. There are many, but there are two major contenders. One is the father-in-law of Prophet. Obviously, he does not come from his family. Abu Bakr. And those who wanted somebody from the Prophet's family to take up the guardianship, there was a cousin of Prophet, Ali, who also happens to be his son-in-law. So Ali, Prophet ke parivar se aate the. So those said that anyone who is pious can become the caliph, came to be known as Sunni. Those who wanted Ali to become the guardian, the vice regent, the caliph, came to be known as Shia. Sunni, Shia. Theek. It goes without saying that Abu Bakr becomes the caliph. So the order goes something of this sort. After Prophet, the first caliph is Abu Bakr. ठीक है? Umar, Usman. First, second, third. By his time, Quran was completely codified, and so was Hadith. By his time, completely. And after Usman, the fourth caliph was Ali himself. It is happening by consensus. Remember that. Decision is taken together. Until here, there is no such, there are problems, there are internal problems, but it is not a political problem. Until Ali is there. After Ali begins the problem. After Ali, the caliph, the post of caliph is equated with power. After Ali, the post of caliph becomes very powerful. In other words, the whole idea of equality is lost. In other words, caliph is now transforming his whole area into a state. A state of a caliph is called a caliphate. The state caliphate. Now, what is a state? Number one, a state has a territory, a defined territory. Number two, a state has to have an army and a head. A state has to have laws. Ji Nikita. Territory, army, head, law. Number four, needs approval from no one. That is the true definition of a state. This was UPSC 2021 question. What is a state? So for example, is India a state? Does India require approval from United Nations? The best example is Taliban. Is Taliban a state? Yes, it is. Has it been recognized by UN? Is it a state? Palestine. Is it a state? Have you understood? State. The first caliphate, therefore, after Ali, that comes into picture is the Umayyads. Which will close by 750. And after Umayyads will come Abbasids. Will continue till 1258. Umayyads का capital कहाँ है? Damascus. Abbasid, Baghdad. For us, these two caliphate are important for the history of India. That is why I am referring to these two, Umayyads and Abbasids. So, Prophet, Abu Bakr, Omar, Usman, Ali, Umayyad, Abbasid. Take. You have a territory? Yes. Do you have an army? Yes. Do you have a head? Yes, that is caliph. Do you have a law? Let's find out. Do you have a law? Let's find out. So Islam gave you two things, Quran and Hadith. Is this definition of state applied for today? Yes. Yes. बोल तो रहा हूं, is Palestine a state? Has it been recognized by UN? Does Palestine has an embassy in Delhi? Huh? Jesus and Mary Marg, Palestine, Embassy of Palestine in front of Sanskriti School. कैन बी यूज्ड इन पॉलिटी आंसर ऑल्सो. हाँ बेटा, जो मैं पढ़ाता हूं पूरा सदाकत है, सब कहीं भी लगा लो, सब कुछ. मैंने कोई दरबान थोड़ी बिठा रखा, कहीं भी लगा लो. Umayyad is a state, so there are many caliph inside in that, and then Abbasid has many caliph. Abbasid is a caliphate, it considered as a kingdom. समझ में आई बात? Now Quran are written in verses. हाथ के अंगन को आरसी क्या, पढ़ लिखे को फारसी क्या, बट ये तो अरबिक में था. कहने का मतलब ये हुआ that you do not understand verses. How will you make laws? So you will start the same process. Everything happens through here as consensus. Everybody will be called. All the elders will sit together and they will start tafsir. Tafsir means discourse or debate. So they will start discussing the various meanings of the verses. What does that imply? If they are stuck somewhere, they will take help from hadith. कि prophet क्या कहते थे? So they are taking help. Once tafsir is done, you reach to a stage where you are ready for consensus. है ना? You have started tafsir. Now it is time that you will take a decision. है ना? सीधे इज्म पर आओ. Ijm is jurisprudence. Sorry, इज्म को jurisprudence को कंफ्यूज करते हो, उसको छोटा करो. Ijm is, इसको सीधा रखो, consensus. एक एक करके, step by step. Consensus. Ijm. You have started the discussion on verses. You have come to a consensus कि हाँ यही सही है. That is the real meaning of it. Once you have come to consensus, then you go to fiqh, jurisprudence. In other words, on the basis of the verses, you are trying to make laws. Once you have made fiqh, you are ready to consolidate everything that you have discussed into a form of law. Can we call it Islamic law? Can we call it Islamic law? There's a word for it. Sharia. That is the process of forming the Islamic law. Tafsir, ijm, fiqh, Sharia. Clear? Simple? Now we go to the next level of complexity. So as you know, will give you fiqh, that is jurisprudence. We can simply call it schools of thought. है ना? Jurisprudence, schools of thought. There could be many schools of thought. There could be many elders. Many people can interpret. So this school of thought can be further divided into Sunni and Shia school of thought. Because as you can understand, they had some division in their thought process. It is just the difference of opinion. Theek? So there are many schools of thought that developed among the Sunni world. Number one is Hanafi. For us, Hanafi is important because it comes to India. Hanafi. The most important rule book of Hanafi in those days, the first is Hidayah. जहां से शब्द आया है, Hidayat. Hidayah. That is their rule book. I will tell you another book when we will be doing Aurangzeb. Abhi nahi, Aurangzeb ke samay mein. So the first book is Hidayah. Number 2 is Hanbali. Number 3 is Shafi. And number 4 is Maliki. 4 different schools of thought. For us, which is important? Hanafi. Now comes Shias. Number 1, Isn Ashari, also called the 12ers. Isn Ashari, the 12ers, the earliest ones, the elders, 12ers. Number 2, Zaidi. जैदी कहां फॉलो होता है? यमन में, इसीलिए यमन में लड़ाई चल रही है. Number 3 is Ishmailis. They are very important because they came to India. Ishmailis. हाँ? नहीं, वो बहुत माइनॉरिटी में है, मार मार के भगाया था उनको एक्चुअली, पर वो रहते हैं बिकॉज़ वो शिया है ना, सो दे आर शिया का वहां इंपॉर्टेंस है, बट यमन इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेस. दिस यू आर राइट, बट मेजॉरिटी इज यमन. Ismailis, when they came to India, they got divided into 2: East, West. East, West. Khojas, Bohras. What is Wahhabi in this context? अबे Wahhabi कहाँ आ गए अभी तुम? कंफ्यूज लॉट है, कोई नहीं, हो जाएगा. पहले जो कर रहे पहले वो करो, सब सीखोगे तुम किसी और से. Tired I am. Bohras. Bohras got further divided into Daudi and Sulaimani. Daudi and Sulaimani. I do not know how many of you read newspapers, because if you do not, you would be preparing for UPSC for life, and still you will not get results. I'm very serious. So you have to read newspapers. Why I'm referring to it is, whenever you open the newspaper, they will say Muslim elites, Muslim elites. There's a word used for them. The Muslim elites in India came to be known as simply Ashrafs. But the political term for Muslim lower caste in India, political term, is Pasmandas. It's actually a collective term. इसमें बहुत सारे आते हैं. But we call it Pasmandas. It was in news 9 months ago when the UP Pasmandas demanded caste census before the elections. Pasmandas. जैदी सरनेम भी होता है, बिल्कुल होता है. बोहरा भी होता है, मल्लिक भी होता है, सब होता है. समझ आई बात? That is the extent of the laws. ठीक, आगे बढ़े. The Sharia is the law, Islamic law. And Islamic law has something to say about the world. This is the world. This circle is the world. It represents the world. According to Sharia, the world is divided into 2. Dar al इस्लाम, दार अल हर्ब, अल्जाफ आर पासमंदा जी सुनील जी। दारल हर्ब, दारल इस्लाम। Darul Harb is that part of the world where non-conformists live. In other words, those people who don't have a holy book. If you do not understand this, just write non-Abrahamic religions. Those who do not have a holy book. Now, who will qualify in this? Nomads and tribes. Nomads and tribes. अब imagine करना शुरू करो. You have to imagine, otherwise you will never understand. Arabian Peninsula is at one place. What is the nearest place where nomads and the tribes live? Central Asia. Steppe land, Central Asia, Inner Asia. That is the area. For these people, there are two rules. There are only two ways, two rules for them. Either fight or get conquered. मैं अच्छे शब्दों में इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूं. अगर क्रूड भाषा में लिखूं तो die or convert. You have two options. Either fight back, prove your might, or get conquered. Die or convert. But here, in this part of the world, lived a very ferocious tribal community, a nomadic community. The most dreadful nomads of the world. They were nomads. And they worshipped sky god called Tengri. They are very cute people, very cute. They do not discriminate when it comes to gender. They rape men and women equally. They don't discriminate. And they are very cute people. Since sky is their god, so sky is their home. So wherever the sky is, that is their home. So let's take it. According to one of the research that was conducted in Harvard, they did all the DNA sampling. They said 2/3 of the world population has 0.2% of the genes of Genghis Khan. And Genghis Khan killed so many people in his lifetime that the whole carbon consumption in that time period came down by 2%. So you can understand how many people he may have killed. That is Genghis Khan for you. If you are intelligent people, you will be stuck by his surname. He is a Khan, but not a Muslim. Kindly remember that. He is a Khan, but not a Muslim. Why is that so? You will understand in another 5 minutes. ठीक? So the Islamic people are afraid of Genghis Khan. आया तो मार के जाएगा और मारता भी है. That is how they decline. मतलब the caliphate. Dar al-Islam is that area which is under Muslim rule. But non-Muslims also live here. Now the question is, which non-Muslims? Those who have a holy book. Did we have holy book? Do we Hindus have a holy book? Now you know why your Chaudhry, Sharmas, Bhatiyas and Mehtas still sitting in this room. Because there is a different rule for these people. There are two rules. Number one, respect Islam. Number two, don't convert a Muslim. There are two rules for these people. Don't convert a Muslim to your faith. Number two, respect Islam. If you do that, if you follow these two orders, you would be considered a protected class. And if you are a protected class, you would neither be converted nor be killed. Okay? You are a protected class. A protected class is called a dhimmi or a jimmy. You are a protected class. And if you are a protected class and you are living in a Muslim ruled world, you have to give a poll tax, jizya, which is 2.5%. Again, who are exempted? Again, the people who are exempted here are poor, children, now women also, that is Hindu women, and a very important class, the Brahmins. They don't pay. जी विजेंद्र साहब, आपका मैं पूरा नाम नहीं पढ़ पा रहा हूं पर वही होगा शायद. They were exempted from paying jizya. Poor, women, children, and the Brahmins. Now comes an exception. The exception comes at the time of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq is one such ruler who says that even Brahmins will pay. .5% of your earning, obviously. सेविंग लिख लो, सेविंग लिख लो. दो 2.5% देना है, बात खत्म. अर्न करोगे तभी तो दोगे. तुम सेव करो ना करो, तुम्हारी वाला देना पड़ेगा. When this jizya money is collected, it can only be spent on welfare work, welfare of the community. It is also fixed. ये पैसा कहीं और इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते. So for example, for building madrasas, for building mosques, for giving poor people money for Hajj and hospitals, only for the welfare of the people. This money can only be used for this purpose. नौमन खान, आपका सवाल ऐसे अच्छा है. It was actually meant for the Muslim world, but since in India there were many Hindus, so there were exceptions. Clear hai? Look at Dar al-Islam very carefully. So can we draw something of this sort? I am only drawing Dar al-Islam right now. Have you seen this circle before? I told you, when we reach medieval India, you will see this circle. Because when the Islamic people entered, there were other people who were non-Islamic. So those people who were Islamic, on them was imposed the Islamic law, Sharia. And those people who did not belong to the Islamic world, for them, there were secular laws. Zawabit. No, beta, no temples, only mosques. इतने भी हैं. सारे अकबर नहीं थे. All right. The first ruler to come up with Zawabit was Balban. Balban introduced Zawabit. Now you understood, we have reached to the second circle, Islam. Right now we are not interested in non-Muslims. We are only interested in the Muslim community. The Muslim taxes for Muslims, आप ऐसे भी कर सकते हो. Not for non-Muslims. It means we are not yet talking about India. We are still at the border. They have not come to India. Number one is Ushar. It is the revenue tax. Ushar. What is R and P in the previous diagram? R is for Rohan, P is for pupil. No, seriously. Number two, khams. Now, khams is the war booty tax. War booty tax. For instance, you are a person who lives in the Islamic world, and if you are participating in a crusade, you are going to fight in the name of the religion. Whatever you loot, the loot amount will be divided henceforth. 1/5 will go to the state, and 4/5 you can keep it for yourself. It means crusades or fighting was a very interesting way of becoming wealthy. That is why when Mahmud of Ghazni will keep on coming with his soldiers will never deplete. Many people will rise again to fight for Ghazni. Comes. So in fact, the war against religion is actually a misnomer. It is all economics. It is purely economics. इसमें सब कुछ पैसा है. Now we come to the next concept. Slaves, Turks, Mamluks or Ghulam. Slaves, Turks, Mamluks or Ghulams. if I have to give one definition for slaves, slaves are simply property. They are human beings. They can breathe. That is all. They can just breathe. They are property. बाबू आपको एक नया शीट बनाना चाहिए. मतलब अच्छा आप वैसे लिख रहे हो. अच्छा फिर तो ठीक. Property. Now who are Turks? Turks are not from Turkey. They belong to the Turkoman region. That is the steppe Central Asian region of the world. Turkoman region. Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. That is the region. Central Asia. Do they exist today? It means they were alive. They are still alive. It means their forefathers were alive. It means they converted. They did not choose to die. They converted. So who are the Turks? The converters. The Turks. ठीक? Now imagine you are a Turk and you are old. You are going for fights because you have converted. So you are fighting in the name of the expansion of religion. But then you have turned old. How will you fight? So what will you do is you will sell off your child to caliph or rulers in the name of expansion of Islam. You sell off your child. Why would you sell off your child? Because comes. पैसे कमाओगे. So your child is bought by a significant military commander, a ruler or a caliph, who will send your child. He will prepare your child, obviously, will train him, and then send the child for the warfare. So can we say that this child was a freeborn, a free man? He was born as a free man, but then he was sold. So can he go for war when he grows up? Yes. So since he is free, he can own property, because in Khams you have just realized that 4/5 of the money goes to you. So you can own property. Now look at the board. Is there something which is a property? They can own slaves of their own. Kitna sundar slave hai. He's such a good gulam that he can have gulam. That is Mamluki, Mamluks. The Mamluks are those slaves who can have slaves. Now the question is, if they can have slaves, why are we calling them gulam? Because they have a master. Somebody must have bought him. The master is a mamalik. And the relationship between a master and gulam is unbreakable until the gulam dies, not the master dies. This relationship cannot end until the slave dies. कहने का मतलब ये हुआ that, for example, the master has told the gulam not to marry in his life, and if the master dies the next week, that does not mean that he will go and marry the next month. No, he cannot marry at all till the time he is alive. A master is a master for life. Have you understood? That is why he is a gulam. There is another angle to it. The gulam is a gulam only to his master. For instance, the master has a son and he says, जाके धनिया पुदीना लेकर आओ, तो वो तलवार से गला काट देगा. A master can only order the ghulam. Nobody else can order him, not even his family members. Have you understood? A ghulam is a ghulam until the ghulam is alive. Clear? This is a very important concept. Once you are done, let me know. Done. Imagine that here is Baghdad. In other words, we are talking about Abbasid Caliphate. We have to imagine. Yes, a ghulam can be freed by a mamalik. A master can do whatever he wants. वो बोला लेट जाओ लेट जाएगा, बोला पीछे मुड़ जाएगा, बोला झुक जाओ झुक जाएगा, बोलेगा भाग जाओ भाग जाएगा, कुछ भी कर सकता है वो. बोले घोड़े से उतर जाओ उतर जाएगा, बोले लेट जाओ मैं घोड़ा चढ़ाऊंगा चढ़ जाएगा, कुछ भी कर सकता है वो. Is a commodity for the master. Now this caliph, I am giving you an example. Imagine this caliph is going to buy many Mamluks, 7 to 10 years old children. He is going to buy children from the Turk area, Turkoman region. Once the children has been bought by the caliph, he is trained militarily. He is taught court etiquettes. Look at this ghulam. He has the best of the life. Anna, he is given everything. He is taught Quran. He is taught Hadith. He is taught many languages. He is taught sciences, mathematics, arithmetic, whatever you can think of. He gets the best of education, best of the food, best of the training. Don't you think he would be very, very loyal to his master? He is living the best of his lives. Once he turns old to become a military commander, once he is trained and is ready to become a military commander, this boy who has just grown old will be given 10,000 soldiers under him. If this military commander has 10,000 soldiers under him, he is given a title, a tamgha. He is called Tuman. You have never heard this term, I think, but you have heard the other, Khan. So therefore, Khan is a military title, not a religious title. So Changiz Khan is a Khan because he had 10,000 soldiers, not because he was a Muslim. Samajh aayi baat? He is a Khan. Since he becomes a Khan and he is the most trusted man of the master, that is Caliph, Caliph will send these prepared Khans in different parts of the territory to control, collect taxes, and do whatever they want. So Khans are sent everywhere. Now this can be called as the temporary control area of the Khan. I hope you agree. This Khan is independent in his area. Is independent. Why? Because he is the responsible person to maintain law and order. Exactly the same thing जो feudalism में पढ़ा था आपने. He has to maintain army. But he is part of the caliphate. Clear? The control area of a Khan is therefore called a Khanat. Can anybody give me an example of a khanat? IR वालों, TSIR वालों, ऐसे कैसे होगा? बुखारा, खीवा, खोकंद are the examples of khanat. नाम सुना भी है बुखारा का, आलू बुखारा वाला. नोमान, दिल्ली सल्तनत खनत है. Now imagine this Khan tries to break free. This Khan tries to break free, not religiously, but completely independent. He wants to break free from the clutches of the caliphate. For that, he would need permission from the caliph himself. Now you may have a question, why would caliph agree? You know, there could be many permutation and combinations. What if the Khan is alive but this caliph is dead? So he is not answerable to the next caliph that way because he is not the master. Or that could be another permutation and combination. This caliph is alive, this Khan is dead, his son takes over. He is not answerable to that caliph. Or there could be a third possibility. This Khan has a friend. This Khan has a friend, and that friend is a monster of who the caliph is very scared of. Actually, the third was the truth. That is what happened in India. So if a Khan, वो मैं बताऊंगा आपको, पर अभी आप ये समझिए, when a Khan tries to break free from the caliph, he becomes Sultan. And now the area of his control would be called a Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate. जी. खानेट इंडिया में है ही नहीं. They're converted. Because he never Khan कौन होता है? अच्छा, you are sitting here. A brigadier sahab has just entered. A brigadier sahab has just entered. Tell me what religion he is. Exactly. A Khan sahab has just entered. Tell me his religion. You will say Muslim. It is a stereotyping. Have you understood what I'm saying? Khan is a military title, not a religious title. Kindly keep it out of your mind.
No, but if Changgez Khan was trained, then he must be converted.
No, he trained himself. He was trained by the wolf. That's what he said. Now, before we enter India, last important concept: how to become a sultan. So all Muslims having tag Khan are not Muslim, they are military. They adopted a title later. Generally, why caliph allowed to break from caliphate? You will understand it in another 20 minutes. There are two things that a caliph has to do. Number one, he has to issue a letter of investiture. In other words, to whosoever it may concern, from this day on, that person is a sultan. A letter of investiture to the sultan. फिल्मों में आपने देखा होगा एक ताजपोशी होती है, a crown is kept on the head. उसे फिल्मों में होता है. यहां पर the caliph sends a robe that he wears to the incumbent sultan. So there is no concept of a crown, there's a concept of a robe. So it is like divine sanction that he is sanctioning कि जा बेटा तू अब rule कर, robe. Now there are two things that a sultan has to do. Number one, on Friday in the mosque, khutbah is read in the name of the new sultan. हाँ बेटा, लेटर ऑफ इन्वेस्टिट्योर मतलब द कैलिफ इज इन्वेस्टिंग हिज ट्रस्ट इन द सुल्तान, ये कर लेगा. Number two, to celebrate the day, to celebrate this day, because it's a very important day, a coin is issued. On this coin, obviously a coin has two sides, obverse and reverse. On one side would be the name of the caliph, on the other side would be the name of the sultan, telling it to the people that everything is hunky-dory between the sultan and the caliph. Do not need to worry, keep the trade going, because money is the main god. It is medieval India. पैसा सब कुछ है. The first ever sultan to go through all this process, the first ever sultan to go under this process was Iltutmish. He did it in the year 1229, where he took the permission from Al-Mutansir, the Abbasid caliph. Why did this happen? We will come to know, don't worry. So Iltutmish in 1229 takes the title of Sultan officially from the caliph Al-Mutansir. Why did he agree? We will come to know. Sultan will be still under caliph, yes, in terms of religion, just like the prime minister is under the president and president is just a nominal head. Exactly the same way. Is Sultan answerable to caliph? No, but yes, in terms of religion, he has to send tributes. He has to ensure that every year when people go for Hajj, he sends tribute to the caliph also. Clear? जब इतना सीख गए, अब भारत में घुसेंगे. The year was 712 AD when an Umayyad commander by the name Muhammad bin Qasim invaded Sindh and captured it in 712 AD. And Umayyad commander Muhammad bin Qasim invaded Sindh and became the first person to impose jizya in India. Because Sindh is part of India. He invades and takes Sindh, imposes jizya. ठीक? This information comes from a book The name of the book is Chachnama. This book was written in Arabic. Later, this book was converted into Persian, Fatah Nama or Fat Nama. The writer of the books is one and the same person, Ali Kufi. Ali Kufi is the author, the names of the book, and the language in which they are written. ठीक. Since it is Arabic, it means they are Arab people. They invaded from Arab. That is why it is called Arab invasion. So in India, what happened first was the Arab invasion. ठीक. There was a Khanat, Bukhara. There was a Khanat called Bukhara. From Bukhara came a person whose name was Alp-Tigin. He was a free man, a military commander. Military commander and a free man. He was nobody's slave. Alp-Tigin. Alp-Tigin ran to a place called Ghazni. He ran to a place called Ghazni. ठीक. When he ran, he started his own independent Khanat. He started independent because he went rogue. He ran away. After some time, he will die. Alp-Tigin was replaced by his slave. He had a slave, Subuk-Tigin. ठीक. बुखारा कहां है? Where is Bukhara? Uzbekistan. That is the region of the Turkoman. So therefore, these are Turkish people. So यहां से क्या शुरू होगा? Turkish invasion. Have you understood the difference? पहला क्या था? Arab invasion. From here will start Turkish invasion. ठीक है? Subuk-Tigin had a son. So first Alp-Tigin, he died. Subuk-Tigin took care of Ghazni. Then comes his son, whose name was Mahmud. He was also a free man because he was not enslaved. Uska baap hi raja ban gaya. So why would he become somebody's slave? He is a free man. Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni will come to India. His time period is 997 to 1030 AD. Mahmud of Ghazni. ठीक. Not only Mahmud, after Mahmud, his son started invading India, whose name was Masood. His son, 1030 to 40, the Ghaznavids began to attack India. ठीक है. फिर से शुरू करते हैं. Let's begin it again. Ghaznavids. So for us, the time period that is important is 997 to 1040 almost. Ghaznavids. And for us, the person who is important here is Mahmud. 997 to 1030. Mahmud has his linkages from Bukhara, correct? So here begins the Turkish invasion. Bukhara was the center, main center for the growth of Farsi, Persian. So Mahmud adopted one thing from Bukhara, his love for Persian. Ghazni became the center for the growth of the language called Persian, Farsi. He was a very shrewd man and he wanted to become rich and popular in a very short period of time. So how to invite people who could speak Persian? So he started kidnapping people. The number of people he kidnapped, number 1, Firdausi, the writer of the famous book Shahnama, also called the Mahabharat of Afghanistan. Shahnama, the Mahabharat of Afghanistan. Number 2, Ibn Sina, the polymath. The polymath. ठीक. Number 3, Al-Hujwiri, the first, ऐसे लिखो, writer of the first ever Sufi book written in the world. अरे पॉलीइथाइलिन नहीं बेटा, पॉलीमैथ. Anybody who is a doctor here? इब्न सीना का नाम सुना है? ये नाम सुना है? नहीं? या अल्लाह. There is no country in the world, including India, which has not issued a stamp in the name of Ibn Sina, the scientist, the biologist who gave you a lot of techniques in medicine. Is a very popular man. जाइए और पढ़िएगा इनके बारे में. The technique of puncturing and fracturing was learned by Europeans through Ibn Sina. Very popular man. So there are other. I will give you one more name, but in some time. Mahmud began his attacks in India from 1000 AD itself. He started attacking India from 1000 AD itself. And the first attack was on a Muslim ruler. So there is nothing religious about it. It's all about money. He was simply a plunderer. ये एक डकैत है और कुछ नहीं. In 1025, he attacked the Somnath temple. 1025. Yes, the book of healing was written by him. You are very right. Sunil, you are very right. The book of healing was written by Ibn Sina. Very right. ठीक. Mahmud, as I said, was a man who wanted to be, glorified in the history, annals of history. So whenever he came to India, he always brought a writer with him. बोला चल साथ में चल लिखता चलियो. Every time. So that traveler who came always with him was al-Biruni. Al-Biruni came to India whenever Mahmud of Ghazni attacked, and al-Biruni writes a book called Kitab al-Hind. This is in Farsi because, as I said, Mahmud was interested in Farsi. Al-Biruni. Why this book is important? This is the first ever book that tells you the difference between Hinduism and Islam. Anybody who has history optionals should read it. Anybody who has history optionals should read it. If you do not have history optionals, you are saved. Let me give you a further advice. If you have history optionals, change your optionals. No, I'm very honest about it because history में number नहीं आते. तो थोड़ा ध्यान से हैं. After Mahmud, the charge was taken by Masood. मसूद के बारे में एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट मिलता है. A very important and a fascinating fact. He had Hindu military commanders in his army. Let me give you a few names. Tilak, Sondhi are the two of the Hindu commanders working for Masood. और भी नाम है, दो इंपॉर्टेंट है. तिलक, सौंधी. सो तिलक खान, सौंधी खान. अब ये मत बोल देना हिंदुओं के खान कैसे हो गया. This Tilak bhai, on the orders of Masood, attacked the ruler of Punjab in 1030, whose name was Nial Tigin. You can understand by the name that he was a Muslim. A Muslim ruler asks a Hindu military commander to take the head off of a Muslim. Is it religious? No. Paisa, rokra, dhan. That is the whole idea. How do we get this information? ये information आता कहाँ से? Particularly this fact that he had Hindu military commanders. This comes from a book, Tarikh a Bahyaki. That is the name of the book, written by Abul Fazl Bahyaki. I told you I will give you one more name who was there in the court. That is Abul Fazl Bahyaki, the court historian of the court of Mahmud and Masood Ghazni. Now the last interesting fact about Masood, जो कि आपको ये बताएगा that nothing was religious here. Mahmud issued a gold coin. That had Nandi made on it. The Shiva's bull. Mahmud. Mahmud issued a gold coin. Nandi was made on it, and he went by the name Sri Mahasamant Dev Mahmud. Shri Mahasamant Dev Mahmud. There is no religion here. Mahmud issues this coin. Masood also continues with the coin, the same coin. Ghurids were two brothers. Ghurids were two brothers who worked for Ghaznavids and they were free. So you can call them vassals. You can call Ghurids the vassals of Ghaznavids. They were working for Ghaznavids. One fine day, Ghurids went and killed their master. Killed and burnt Ghazni. They just burnt it. I do not care about Ghaznavids that much, but I care about the most significant loss that this fire took with it. The library of Ibn Sina was lost forever. Ibn Sina's library was lost in this fire. So we only have now 2 books left, and both are kept in the Vatican of Ibn Sina. Nothing is left. All his records are gone. What was the evidence for this gold coin and where it was found? I am the evidence. If you want to see the coin, you have to go to El Biruni Institute, that is in Uzbekistan. जाओगे? जाओगे? ध्यान से जाना. बोरात देखा है तुमने? इलाका ठीक नहीं है. The two brothers. Shihabuddin, Muizuddin, Feroz, the elder brother. Muizuddin Muhammad Muizuddin Muhammad, or simply Muhammad Ghor, the younger brother. Shihabuddin Muizuddin Feroz and Muizuddin Muhammad Ghor. My optional subject is history. Some advice give me. Leave it. See, the topper of the last UPSC with history had 300 marks, my student. 301. मतलब उतना परफॉर्म करने के बाद भी he could not make IAS, he could not make it to IAS. IPS बन गया बेचारा. सैया भय कोतवाल आफ्टर हिस्ट्री. अगर तुम्हारा चॉइस IPS है तो फिर देख लो. मैं सारे स्टूडेंट्स को ये कहता हूं, हिस्ट्री छोड़ दो. बहुत मेहनत का काम है, इतना आसान नहीं. Shihabuddin Muizuddin Feroz, Muizuddin Muhammad Ghor. Correct? Now, these two brothers are very different from anybody else in that time period. Why? Because they decided to co-rule together. They decided to co-rule together. They are two brothers and they want to rule together. So what one brother did? Feroz said, जो बड़ा भाई था, he said, I will make my capital in Ghor. You take the recently burned capital, Ghazni. So one operated from Ghor, the other operated from Ghazni. So हमारे काम का कौन है? मोहम्मद घोर. कहां से ऑपरेट करता है? गजनी से. हाँ, PSIR इज ओके. PSIR ले लो, पॉलिटिकल साइंस ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो, हिस्ट्री मत लो. Do not take history, do not take psychology for the next 2-3 years. Do not take philosophy also. Geography is fine. नंबर नहीं आ रहे ना. हाँ, इकोनॉमिक्स. डिबेसमेंट क्राइसिस की थ्योरी किसने दी है? ग्रेशियम्स लॉ. ओके. हाँ अबिदुल्ला, योर ऑप्शन इज द बेस्ट. उर्दू बेस्ट. इफ यू टेक लैंग्वेज एज एन ऑप्शन, IAS बनना पक्का है. बेस्ट इज पाली. ऑप्शंस में इतना बनाना पड़ता है. समझ रहे हो बाबू? ऑप्शंस वालों, इतना बनाना पड़ेगा. कर पाओगे? Feroz Ku from Ghazni operates Muhammad. Feroz Ku मतलब the capital of Feroz. अभी बनाया नहीं आपने? फटाफट मिट जाएगा सब. अभी आपने क्या पढ़ा? Mahmud came and destroyed Somnath, correct? So which pass he would have taken? Bolan Pass, correct? Muhammad Ghor comes and wins over. Which pass he would have taken? Khyber Pass. So the basic difference between Ghor and Ghazni is Ghazni came through Bolan Pass, so they failed because it was desert, and Ghurid entered through Khyber Pass. That is why they were successful. The basic difference between Ghazni and Ghurids. The two brothers decided, can you see this line? Here is Banbhor. We have done this if you remember. The Daibul port, the only port on the Indus River. ठीक. Feroz said, the line, the red line that you see, towards the left is the property of Feroz, and towards the right of this line is the property of Muhammad. Therefore, Muhammad is important for us, not Feroz. That is the line of demarcation. That is the line of demarcation. Okay. Now the scholars in their court, let's finish it off here itself. The first scholar in his court was Nizami, also called Uruzi, the writer of Chahar Makal. Persian, Chahar Makal. The second most important scholar of his court was Mubarak Shah. But he was not known by this name, Mubarak Shah. He was given a title, Fakr-e-Mudabbir. The writer of Adab al-Harb, a book of etiquettes for the Kafirs. Adab al-Harb. The Ghurids issued a gold coin that had Shiva's Trishul or trident made on it. Once you are done with this, we can go ahead. कर लिया? The first battle of Tarain fought between Muhammad Ghor, Prithviraj the third. Prithviraj won. Everybody knows this. Prithviraj won. But how did he win? How did he win? He won without a fight, actually. Prithviraj Chauhan won without a fight because when Muhammad Ghor arrived, they left. Prithviraj Chauhan had elephants in his army. The Ghorid army had never seen an elephant in their life. They saw the elephant, they ran back. Because they are on horses, horses would be scared, they ran back. While they were running back, Muhammad Ghor fell in the water. He, है ना, वो गिर जाता है, and he is drowning. One slave enters the water, pulls him back, and saves him. One slave pulls him back and he saves him. That is how he was saved. But anyway, Muhammad Ghor came in his senses, went back to Ghazni, but he's not going single-handed, matlab empty-handed. When he's going back to Ghazni, when he's running back, he has asked his slaves to cut logs from the trees. Logs, wooden logs, obviously. What will he do with these logs? He asked the carpenters in his area to build 11 wooden elephants. देखो कितना इंटेलिजेंट आदमी है ये. He takes the log, gets 11 wooden elephants made, and he places it in Ghazni. So that every morning when the horses rise and the soldiers rise, they see an elephant and they are no more scared. Next year, he returns back. Second battle of Tarain. Ghor won without a fight. Because now they were so strong They were scared of nobody. Ghor won. There are three sources, Indian sources of this time period. Indian sources. Of which two are bardic literature. Prithvi Raj Raso by Chand Bardai, and the other is Prithvi Raj Vijaya by Janak. They both are bardic literature. That is why they are not considered historical source. Number 3 is a Jaina source. Prabandhan Chintamani. The third is a Jaina source. Every historian is using one or the other to prove what actually happened, but none of them can prove. Why? You know why? Because in all the three books, the stories are different. None matches the other. ठीक? चिंतामणि, म न, बड़ी न, चिंतामणि, चिंतामणि बेटा, चिंतामणि. Bardic literature is a literature which has many troughs, है ना? मैं रूम के अंदर गया, सामने से शेर आ गया, शेर कूदा, मैंने उसे एक हाथ से पकड़ लिया, फिर उसको मैंने दांत गिने, फिर एक दांत निकाला, फिर उसके गले का लॉकेट बना लिया. माय पृथ्वीराज. Bardic literature, it has many troughs, so you cannot deduce what is correct, what is not. Heroic bards, जिसमें आप बढ़ा चढ़ा कर बात, exaggerations होते हैं. No, the first two. The third is a Jaina source. Muizzuddin Muhammad Ghor. Had no sons. एक भी बच्चा नहीं था इसका. But he had slaves. Muizzi slaves. Named after him. Muizzi slaves. The two most important slaves of his, Ildes, Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutbuddin Aibak can have slaves. You remember, slaves can have slaves. Khutbi slaves. Kubacha. Iltutmish. Remember the story I told you? A slave jumped to save Muhammad Ghor. That was Iltutmish. Iltutmish jumped to save Ghor. So when Ghor came in his senses, he said, "From now on, I set you free." Iltutmish was manumitted. Iltutmish was manumitted, set free by the master's master. Iska master kaun? Aibak. Aibak ka master kaun? Ghor. Who freed him? He. क्या slave मास्टर की तौहीन कर सकता है? Once a decision of a master is made, it cannot be taken back. अभी आपने पढ़ा ना, everything will come back. ठीक, ये चार्ट आप बार बार बनाएंगे, 4-5 बार बनाना पड़ेगा, तभी क्लैरिटी आएगी, और हम वही करेंगे। क्लियर है? इल्तुतमिश। ठीक, Muhammad Ghor did not have a son, so he loved his slaves as if they are his sons. Before his death, he divided the territory equally between them. Ildiz got Ghazni, Kubacha got Multan and Uch, Abak got Delhi and beyond. And since Iltutmish was once Abak's slave, so Abak gave him Badaun to take care of. ठीक, याद रखिएगा, once an order is given to the slave, he has to follow the order until he dies. Remember that. Every concept will come, इसलिए पहले वही पढ़ाया. Muhammad Ghor dies. In his army there is a free man. His name is Bakhtiyar Khilji. Why would he wait for the orders? Because he's a free man. He is not bound by the order of Muhammad Ghor, but out of respect, he waited till Muhammad Ghor dies. He's waiting. The day he dies, Bakhtiyar Khilji marches to Bengal, takes the Sena dynasty, he kills everybody, destroys the Nalanda University, and declared himself the independent ruler of Bengal. ध्यान से देखिए ऐबक के नीचे क्या लिखा है, दिल्ली एंड is Bengal in beyond? So if Bengal is taken by Bakhtiyar Khilji, is it not something which Aibak could not keep up to the promise? बात समझ रहे हो? Bengal is taken by Khilji, Aibak is given Delhi and beyond. It was his task to control everything. He could not. Aibak sends an army in 1206 and kills Bakhtiyar Khilji, one person out of the board. 12-0. हम लोग क्या करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं? We are looking at the last man standing. Who is the last man standing? We are going to kill everybody. और इस प्रोसेस में आप देखेंगे, आप 7 यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन हल कर देंगे पिछले 3 साल से जो आए हैं. बार बार करना पड़ेगा इसको. सो बख्तियार खिलजी इज आउट ऑफ दिस साइट. ठीक, हाँ, इल्दूज जिसको आप बोलते हो, उसका नाम इल्डीज था, उसी को यल्दूज लिखते हैं हिंदी में. इल्दीज लिखेंगे, लेकिन एग्जाम में ये स्पेलिंग लिखेंगे, इल्डूज नहीं. ठीक, समझ आई बात? अब बोर्ड पर कितने बच गए? Ildiz, Kubacha, and for the moment, Kutubuddin Aibak, and obviously Iltutmish. ठीक, Aibak continues till 6 more years. ठीक, and he had gone to Lahore. In Lahore, he's playing a match, friendly match, polo. Chagan khel raha tha ye. He was playing polo in Lahore, he fell off from his horse and he died instantly. While playing polo, he fell off from the horse and he died instantly. Obviously, if you are dying, you are falling from the horse, you will not say, Mere baad ye. You are dead, no. So after Abak, he was replaced by his son, Aram Shah. Aram Shah replaces his father. What did we learn? A master is only, a gulam is only answerable to the master. बेटा कुछ बोलेगा धनिया पुदीना तो उसका वो कैबेज बना देगा. तो इल्तुतमिश आएगा और इसका सर कलम कर देगा. Aram Shah gone. Iltutmish comes on his horse, takes off the head of Aram Shah. बेचारा. Aram Shah मारा गया. Now, how many people left on the board? 3. You have to leave some space on your left, all right? Ildiz, Kubacha, Iltutmish. Now, Iltutmish is Delhi and beyond. Kubacha, Multan and Uch. Ildiz is Ghazni. जी 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 क्या बोले? हाँ हाँ. Out of respect is not, because after all he was a master once. ऐसे भी नहीं करो यार. तुमको पता भी है कैसे लोग हैं, खा जाएंगे एक दूसरे को. Abak is very ferocious. तुमको लग रहा है गरीब बूढ़ा सा. Kubacha used to eat one bhaisa अकेला. हाँ, we have reports. When you read the books, he used to eat a lot. Iltutmish was scared of Kubacha. Anyway, the year was 1210. When on the borders of India, particularly the river Jhelum, at the river Jhelum arrives Changiz Khan, the most dreadful man living on the face of earth. Changiz Khan arrives in 1210-11 at the borders of India. He is about to cross the borders. एक बार आ गया होता बस खत्म. But why is he here? He is here to find Jalaluddin Khan. Jalaluddin Khan, I think, is the most brave man who ever lived on this earth. He stole from Changiz Khan. मतलब the person who is dreaded across the world, he stole from Changiz Khan and he thinks he would be alive. And Changiz Khan is the one, if you steal from him, he will find you wherever you go. So he has got the information that he may have come to India. Changiz Khan comes to Jhelum finding Jalaluddin Khan. Correct? Now tell me, who would be scared first? Ildiz? Ildiz comes to know that Changiz is on the border, he runs. And he comes to Lahore. If you remember, Lahore is not given to anybody. Lahore is a buffer zone. Peshawar, Lahore was not given to anybody. So he runs, crosses Khyber Pass, comes to Lahore, settles there. Theek? When he comes to Lahore, Kubacha is scared. Has he come to take my territory? So what happens? Kubacha and Ildiz start a fight. There's a fight going on between them because Kubacha thinks Ildiz has come to take his place. Iltutmish is waiting in the shadows. Obviously, Ildiz has left his home, so he is weakest. One fine day, Iltutmish just strolls as if he is strolling in a park. In 1215, he comes and takes off the head of Ildiz. The third battle of Taraim. Kubacha did not have ambassador. Kubacha, out of all these people, Kubacha was Bhimsen, without buddhi. He did not have brains. You will see. He was very ferocious, but he did not have brains. Anyway, 12-15 पहुंच गए. अब कितने लोग बचे? यही मिटा दूं? बार बार कहां जाऊंगा? रुको, हटाओ सर. Now look at the intelligence of Iltutmish. Iltutmish writes a letter to who? To Changiz Khan himself. That is the best bet he ever played in his life. He writes a letter to Changiz Khan. In this letter he says, "Sir, I promise you, I won't give asylum to Jalaluddin. In fact, if I find Jalaluddin, I will take him all by myself to your feet so that you can punish him." Intelligent man. But that is just intelligence. Now comes sheer genius. In the last line of his letter, he writes, "Not sure about Kubacha." The last line is very important. Not sure about Kubacha. Changiz Khan receives the letter, but he has to leave for his capital, Tangut, because at Tangut has started a civil war. His brothers are fighting for the throne, so he has to go back to Tangut. But Changiz Khan se koi nahi bachta. Changiz Khan leaves a battalion of Mongol army at the border of India so that they can keep on asking Kubacha, "Where is Jalal?" And you know, when Mongols ask, they ask with a sword. So from here on, the Mongol army began attacking Kubacha as Navratri comes every year. They kept on attacking Kubacha. Kubacha is getting weaker. Iltutmish is waiting for the last moment. Just like a stroll in the park, he comes and takes his head off in 1227. In 1227, Iltutmish goes and kills Kubacha. The only man standing is Iltutmish. अब इल्तुतमिश का जीनियस प्रो बोनो देखिए. Iltutmish has sent a letter to Changiz. Changiz sent him a letter. Okay, I understand. Something of that sort. Changiz sends a courteous etiquette wala letter. All right, I understand. Iltutmish CCs that letter to Caliphate saying, "Sir, I want to become independent. However, I just forgot to mention Changiz is my friend." You understand what he is doing? He is a Khan. He cannot get independence just like that. He wants to be an independent guy. He wants to be a sultan. So he writes a letter to Caliph. He says, "Sir, please kindly make me independent. And however, I forgot to mention Changiz is my friend." That is the copy of the letter. So the Abbasid Caliphate said, "Tu independent aaj hi ho ja. Just get off." In 1229, Iltutmish becomes independent. That is the story. ठीक है? But we have to deal with two people and then we go home. मतलब I go home. आप यहीं रुक जाना. Qutbuddin Aibak. We have to do the character sketch of these two people, Aibak and Iltutmish. That is important. Now you know why Iltutmish could become a sultan. He's a very intelligent man. There were two scholars in his court. Fakr-e-Mudabbir continued. The writer of Adab al-Harb you have just written. But he was not the most important historian of his court. The second one was more important. His name was Hasan Nizami, the writer of Tajul Masir. The writer of Tajul Masir, Hasan Nizami, the most important historian in the court of Qutbuddin Aibak. In his book, Hasan Nizami writes, Aibak is lakh baksh, giver of 1 lakh in charity. He is lakh baksh. Then he further writes, in his ren, a deer and a lion drinks water together. He uses metaphor, deer for Hindus and lion for Muslims, that see how peaceful is the environment. They can coexist. Hasan Nizami is writing that in his book, Tajul Masir. बेटा ये लिख चुके हो अदब अल हर्ब पिछले बार में भी गोरीज के साथ, वही है, सेम है. But the facts tell us otherwise. What we see is different. Qutbuddin Aibak built certain monuments. The first is अढ़ाई दिन का झोपड़ा. अढ़ाई दिन का झोपड़ा, which is in Ajmer. But when you look at it closely, you see that once it may have been a Jain temple. So did you destroy it or did you reconverted it, refurbished it? We have no idea. But the facts tell us otherwise. Number 2, he dedicated Qutub Minar to Bakhtiyar Kaki and built the first story. सिर्फ पहला माला बनवाता है ये, the first story only, after which he died. Number 3, in the same Qutub Minar complex, he builds a mosque. Quwwatul al-Islam Mosque, which is built out of the stones from 26 Hindu and Jain temples. The facts tell you otherwise. The facts are telling you otherwise. See, either he destroyed it or he left for it, as like he left these stones or he used the stones which are already left. We have no idea, but yes, the The sources tell you otherwise. Quatul al-Islam Mosque. So that is Abak for you. Now we come to Iltutmish and then we go home. 5 minutes and then we go home. No. Adhai din ka jhopda becomes first because he starts off there first. Iltutmish is that man who wants to go for a love marriage without disturbing his parents' sentiments. So he wants to appease everybody. He is that sultan who wants to keep everybody happy, everyone. So the first person he wants to appease is the ulema, that is the Orthodox Muslims. He issues a coin, all silver, that is tanka coin. He issues a silver, that is tanka coin. In this coin, the first thing that he takes a very orthodox Muslim title. He calls himself Nasir e Amin al-Mominin. Nasir e Amin al-Mominin. Nasir, a name, a noble name. Amir is a free man, so he's a noble now. He was made free, remember? And Al-Mominin, a Muslim leader of leaders. Orthodox, Qazi, Sahab, Maulana Sahab, happy. Now it is time to make happy the mother, the Brahmins of India. He takes a Sanskrit name. Suratran Lilithmish, matlab Lalit. Joginpura. That is the name that is stuck on his coin. Surat Ran is the Sanskrit for Sultan. Lilithmish is a name, and Joginpura is the old name of Delhi. Surat Ran, Lilithmish, Joginpura. समझ आई बात? खुश कर दिया. अब he has to make his slave friends happy because बेचारे अभी भी slave हैं वो. मतलब खुतबी slaves. He has become a free man. Plus he has killed his master's son. So what he does? He marries Abak's daughter. Slaves are happy. मारा वो ठीक है, पर शादी भी तो किया. साला वाला में चलता है. साला था ना, फिर आराम शाह तो साला हो गया. Number 3, he furthers the construction of Qutub Minar. Number 4, invites Bahauddin Zakaria, a Suhrawardi Sufi saint, to become the religious head of the newly found kingdom of Sultanate. A religious head is called Sheikh ul Islam. in the time of Iltutmish. Bahauddin Zakaria. Number 5. Introduces 2 posts. The post of the Prime Minister, Wazir. Number 2, post of the Defense Minister, Ariz A Mamalik. बहुत है, चिंता मत, बहुत है. Number 6 introduces 2 systems. Number 1, the audit system, the system of audit, Naqib. Because it is an empire now, it's a sultanate, so you have to keep audit system. Number 2, salary payment system, land revenue, plus administrative system. You call it इक्ता. इक्ता बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ना पड़ेगा, जो अगली क्लास में होगा. Number 7, he buys 40 slaves for himself, which he is going to call Turkan A Chahalgan. Or Bandagan A Chahalgan, 2 different names. Number 8 brings a Gupta period iron pillar to Qutub complex from Udaygiri. वो काला आपने एक देखा होगा, लोहे का एक Udaygiri. How do we know all this? There has to be a source. There is nothing without a source. Fakr Mudabbir continues. So does Hassan Nizami. He also continues. But in his time, the most important historian is the third, Minhaz Us Shiraz Jusjani. That is only his name. The name of the book is Tabakat A Nasiri. That is the end of lecture. Lecture number 4 will be thoda isse tough. Lecture number 5 is the toughest. So lecture number 4 will take you 2 to 3 months to revise, but lecture number 5 may take 6 months. Yes, if you do not revise what you have already done. So finish your whatever you have done with me, so that you can come for lecture 4, finish the revision in 15 days, and for the lecture number 5, you can keep 20 days handy. Topic for the next classes, we will begin from the time period of Iltutmish after his death and will continue till Alauddin Khilji. That is all. Point number 7 is he buys 40 slaves. The name of the slaves are Turkane Chelgan. Chalisa जिसको बुलाते हो. He never freed any slave. He never freed. He just marries Abak's daughter.